there, welcome back to English with Gabby. I'm Gabby, and in today's lesson, this is part 2 of the complete guide to time and numbers in English. If you haven't seen part 1, go head over to the description and hit the link. In that video, I teach you how to say large numbers, how to say dates, phone numbers, and how to say years and time. In today's video, we're talking about time expressions or ways that we talk about time. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you can get all of my videos right when they come out. Are you ready to get started? Let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. The first expression that I'm going to teach you is a race against time. This is when you're moving very quickly to finish all of your work because time is wasting. It's very common in American culture for Americans to snap like this when we talk about time. Guys, hurry up, we gotta go, we're in a race against time. So if someone snaps like that, it's not rude, it's just a part of our culture that snapping means to move quickly. Let's go everyone, it's 5 p.m. and we're in a race against time. The next expression is to make up for lost time. We say this when we're trying to replace time that we've lost, typically in a relationship. So we missed a few years, maybe because of distance or because we weren't speaking to someone moved away, or we just weren't able to talk to them. Next time we see them, we say, I really want to make up for lost time. For example, we spent the whole day together trying to make up for lost time. The next one is a time warp. A time warp is a situation where it seems like you're going back to a past time. When I walk into my grandma's house, I always feel like I'm in a time warp. This means I always feel like I've gone back in time. This next expression is 9 times out of 10. This is an expression that we use to say most of the time, or like 90%. 9 times out of 10, at least one of our employees comes late to work. The next expression is, there's a time for everything. This means that there's always an appropriate time for something to happen, and then there's an appropriate time for it not to happen. You didn't win this time, but don't worry. There's a time for everything. Number 6, when the time comes. This means when something happens in the future. Just be ready because I'll need your help when the time comes. The next expression is from time to time. This means occasionally. For example, from time to time she needs to borrow my car, but most of the time she doesn't need it. The next expression is for the time being. For the time being means temporarily or for now. You can borrow these for the time being, but I'll need them back next weekend. The next one is to be pressed for time. This is when you don't have a lot of time to do something. Do you know how much longer this will take? I'm really pressed for time. The next expression is to kill time. This is when you have extra time to waste until something happens. So you're trying to fill empty time. I got to the theater early and had 2 hours to kill. The next expression is time flies when you're having fun, but most of the time we shorten it just to say time flies. This means when you're enjoying yourself, you find that time moves more quickly. It's 9 o'clock already? Oh my gosh, time flies. Only time will tell. This means we'll only find out what's going to happen after time passes. Don't be too sad. Only time will tell if we'll see them again. There's a first time for everything. This is when you did something for the first time or when you're doing something for the first time, but typically it's surprising to whoever you're with. Especially if it's something bad that happens to you for the first time. Wow, they lost the game so easily. There's a first time for everything. This implies that the team normally wins easily, but this time they lost, which was a surprise. We can also say, wow, this is a first. Like, this is the first time something like this has happened. Next, we say, there's no time like the present. That means the time is now. Don't hesitate or delay. Let's finally go to Paris. There's no time like the present. The next expression is ahead of time. Ahead of time is when you prepare for something in advance, not at the last minute. We always book our vacations way ahead of time because we want to pay the cheapest prices. We also have an expression ahead of our time. This is when something seems a bit futuristic. Something that's not so common now, but we think will be common in the future. That company is really ahead of our time. Have you seen all the new inventions that they've created? The next expression is at the last minute. This means right before you're about to do something. Why do we always have to book our vacations at the last minute? Next year, can we plan ahead of time? The next one is time and time again. This means when something happens repeatedly, over and over again. Why do I have to tell you this time and time again? The next expression is time to spare. We either say no time to spare or to have time to spare or spare time. This means extra time. Let's go. There's no time to spare. This means hurry up. We don't have any extra time. We've got to move now. Or wow, we made it to the airport with time to spare. Or what do you like to do in your spare time? I love reading in my spare time. What about you? The next expression is waste time. To waste time is when you don't do anything productive or efficient with your extra time. The session was a total waste of our time. We knew everything that the speaker was talking about. This next expression is once upon a time. You may recognize this as the beginning of many fairy tales. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a princess. While this is common, we use this in daily conversation by talking about things that were common in the past, especially when we're talking about past hobbies. For example, someone might say, "Ah yes, I used to be single once upon a time." The next expression is to find the time. This is when we want to make time or move our schedules around so that we have time to do something that we really want to do. So if your schedule is full, we say you have to find the time to go to the doctor. This means move your schedule around and try to fit it in to go to the doctor because it's very important. For example, I really need to find the time to go to the doctor. My pain is getting worse and worse. It's about time. This means finally. You two got engaged. It's about time. The next expression is half the time. This is like saying something happens often or a good percentage of the time. Half the time she shows up to work late. I don't know why she got promoted. The next expression is for some time now. This means that something has been happening for a while. Yeah, Susie's been living in Chicago for some time now. You didn't know? The next expression is to take forever. This means when someone is taking a really long time. Could you please hurry up? You're taking forever. The next expression that I mentioned in last week's video is on the dot. This means at the exact time. Okay guys, we gotta be there at 8 o'clock on the dot. Let's go. And the last expression that I'm gonna teach you is like clockwork. This is when something happens almost definitely all the time. She canceled her plans with us again, like clockwork. We should have known. Well guys, that's it. Now you know over 30 English expressions involving time. Expressions like these we use all the time in daily conversation. So try using some of these expressions today. Go out and use it. If you want to practice, leave it in the comments. For more great video lessons just like this, head to the description and check out all the links from my previous videos. I have tons of videos just like this that teach you popular expressions that Americans use all the time in English. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to share this video with a friend so that they can improve their English too. See you next time.